On this occasion, we will witness the handing over of the command of Team Army from the outgoing leadership who will retire from the active military service. This also gives us the opportunity to welcome the incoming leadership who would steer the wheel of the command.
For now, just sit back and make yourselves comfortable while awaiting the unfolding of today's event.
Binulungan. May bulong. Wala dito. Maraming tubig mo, may pandesal, ano pa laman? Reno. Bilhin na ako ng panigin. Arskado. Spanish bread. Lunis. Pag-isal tsaka dugaw. Palit tayo. Dugaw na mainit. Yan. Good video.
Nauna na yan. May sinabi siya ni Ibang mo. Hindi ako na. Yung binulong. Hindi narinig.
Huwag nang gawin Davao to please. Gawin Davao to please.
Alis na mga bata. Iniinitan na. Sabi.
For the lunch po. Huwag nang gawin to isang palasyo.
We shall start on with the ceremony. You have just heard the sound of the attention call, which signals the entry of the troops for this ceremony.
Mga main course. Kanina appetizer lang eh.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are witnessing the entry of the division-sized troops comprising this ceremony. 1st Brigade consists of the Security and Escort Battalion and the cadet officers from the Officer Candidate School, Training and Doctrine Command, Philippine Army, while the 2nd Brigade comes from the Combat Service Support and Combat Support of the Command. They represent the Army soldiers ever ready to serve the people while securing the land. The Philippine Army soldier takes on multifaceted role of community organizer, development worker, peacekeeper, human rights advocate, and as mandated combatant.
Through the years, Army soldiers have been helping the Filipino people, especially those in need, with various operations and activities that help alleviate the plight and problems of the people. However, Filipinos saw soldiers as war machines for their strict military hard power, focusing mainly on security and combat operations. But today's Army soldiers, however, are seen on a different light, for they have embarked on a non-traditional role. The effective use of soft development tools carried out through nation-building initiatives that promote peace and development, especially in the countryside. Indeed, these feats prove that the Philippine Army soldiers today assumed a much greater role, defending the country and the people not just in combat, but in every undertaking each Filipino faces.
The Army soldiers have been steadfast in responding quickly and saving lives of the Filipino citizens around the country. The Philippine Army's duty of promoting peace is not limited within the country. With a worldwide need for peace and order, the Philippine Army also deploys officers and enlisted personnel to the United Nations mission. The Army soldiers spread the light of hope to victims of tragedy and conflict, both local and abroad. This just proves that the brave Army soldiers form an integral part of the lives of the Filipinos and those whom they vow to serve overseas.
The Philippine Army's sincere efforts of showing the countrymen that they are agents of peace and development, countless civic action activities are continuously being held around the country with the end goal of helping their countrymen in need of medical assistance, but could not financially afford the exorbitant fee of private medical practitioners. Keeping themselves busy when there are no threats of violence caused by rebels, the Army soldiers conduct medical and dental missions in partnership with non-government organizations and individuals who are one with the Army in its aspirations of delivering the necessary services to the people, even to the farthest barangays.
Army soldiers are known to wear their soldierly values in and out of their uniforms. Imbibed in them is the heavy responsibility deep inside their hearts and the awareness that each is a man for the people. They know the road to peace is not a paved one, and so they have prepared themselves before every battle, armed with prayer and undying faith of a better tomorrow for the country.
Philippine Army soldiers risk their lives and limbs for the success of their missions. We pay tribute to the valiant efforts and sacrifices that our soldiers offer for the country and its people. Army soldiers take on their role as catalysts for peace, development, and good governance. Army soldiers uplift further individual skills and learnings to adapt to the ever-changing environment while continuing support to the successful attainment of the command's objectives. And as directed by the Army leadership, efforts should be further exerted in sustaining operational readiness at the highest level possible.
With the past year, 2016, the Philippine Army attained a significant position on the AFP's Internal Peace and Security Plan Bayanihan. So far, the program has set the command in the right direction and perspective to carry out the objective of the subsequent peace initiative, AFP Development Support and Security Plan Kapayapaan 2017 to 2022. The Philippine Army adheres to the guidance from the new Commander-in-Chief, focusing on the national effort to eradicate illegal drugs, criminality, and terrorism.
On the other hand, institutional transformation and lasting peace remains the same for the Army, though its goal of becoming a world-class force and win the peace is in accordance with the concept of a soldier-centered, knowledge-based management system. As one family, the Philippine Army will continue to carry on the heavy role of providing peace and progress for the motherland. Hand in hand, Army soldiers will support each other and will fulfill their avowed mission.
Your Philippine Army continuously presses on despite the insurmountable challenges as it strives to be a world-class army that is a source of national pride by 2028.
Yung ano yun, yung director. Labas mo na ito. Okay, ilabas na natin. Lagyan mo yung capsule daw.
Harap sa kaliwa. Harap sa kaliwa.
Sa kaliwa.
Ladies and gentlemen, before you is a representation of the 87,000 strong army serving the people and securing the land, anytime and anywhere, wherever and whenever the situation calls for. The troop commander for this ceremony is Major General Noel S. Clement, Commander 10th Infantry Division, Philippine Army.
Please rise for the presentation of command and honors. Thank you. The audience may be seated. The troop commander will present the troops for inspection. Our honorary, the Commanding General, Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Glorioso Ventura Miranda, will inspect the troops. The Commanding General, Philippine Army, is accompanied by the Vice Commander, Philippine Army, Major General Harold N. Cabreros. They will also be joined by the Troop Commander, Major General Noel S. Clement.
Our honorary assumed command of the 87,000 strong army on 7th December 2016. During the tenure of his leadership, the Philippine Army is being beset by various challenges like terrorism, calamities, and the changing security environment. Despite all this, he stood firm and resilient as a leader, facing them all with great courage and fervor. He managed the army based on the principles of having a soldier-centered army, with army soldiers being developed, well-equipped, well-trained, and well-skilled. With the anticipated war of the future being fought technologically based, for him, it is important that soldiers should be knowledge based in managing the organization aside from being physically fit. His guidance focused more on laying the foundation of the future Army. As such, the command has published the Mission Focused Handbook, a brainchild of the honorary, as most of the ideas come from him. Included in the Mission Focused Army is the restructuring of the Army Force in connection with developing the future Army.
Several major changes took place in the Army during his command. He made the Army Support Command a mission command. He empowered ASCOM with the creation of the 1st Logistic Brigade, directly in charge of logistics support in Malawi, creation of the Project Management System, and the 2 Installation Management Battalions in Southern Luzon Command and the Lowlands Luzon Command Armed Forces of the Philippines. All these are geared towards the successful operations in the field. For him, the core of the Army operations is logistics. Additionally, he made a big step in elevating the Training and Doctrine Command, not just as a service support unit, but as a mission unit command, as he also put more emphasis on the development of the Army soldiers through education and training that include marksmanship, individual capacity enhancement, as well as doctrine development. He boosted the Reserve Force development by supporting the Army Reserve Command, which is now a training ground for the reservists, POTC and ROTC cadets. It has also organized the Ready Reserve Force to include Cagayan de Oro City that helped the fighting force in Marawi, as well as the continuous training on the humanitarian assistance and disaster response. The modular concept was introduced and paved the way for the creation of regiments like the Civil Military Operation Regiment and the Army Intelligence Regiment. Likewise, the Weapons Company was also created.
For the honorary, he put premium on mission accomplishment and morale and welfare always. He showed this not only in words, but in deeds. In most instances, he gives great importance to the welfare of the non-commissioned officers. Likewise, the Army Chief put efforts and initiative on engineering matters. He supported the Army engineers with the creation of the 500th Engineer Combat Battalion. He provided support to the Army engineers for them to be strengthened and enhanced in terms of capability and later be fully capacitated. Material equipment were procured for the command's operational readiness, especially on cyber communications, command and control, information system. He gave emphasis on the importance of the continuous bilateral and multilateral engagements through the sustained subject matter expert exchanges, personal exchange programs, training activities, and exchange visits. Our honoree may have served the Army for 10 months, yet it has been a fruitful one, whereby accomplishing much, benefiting the Army soldiers both in garrison and in the front lines, the armed forces, as well as the Filipino nation and its people. In all this, the success he gained is attributed to his supportive family, with wife, Mrs. Caroline Miranda, and children Charmaine Ann, Christine Andrea, Glenn Carlo, and Gian Christopher.
A learned man, a well-decorated man. The learned man who has that passion for the organization and its constituents.
No one is above the law.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is a leader in its truest sense of the word.
Hindi, dalawang taon pa, dalawang taon pa.
Dito. Kaya pa. Oo. Wala ka na raw eh. Saan ba mapunta?
Ito pagka pinakitaan ng condom ni Boss Jack eh, dali na eh.
Dati 5 taon naglalakad niya.
Sabi nito si Benny.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 58th Commanding General of the Philippine Army. Let's all welcome Lieutenant General Glorioso Ventura Miranda, Armed Forces of the Philippines. Thank you. Please be seated. In a short while, we'll proceed with the presentation of award to the outgoing Commanding General, Philippine Army.
Ang mga watawat sumagit na kan.
Awards and decorations are substantial proofs of gallant acts, skills demonstrated, proficiency, and distinction. The presentation of award is a way of an acknowledgement for the exemplary performance shown, especially in the military service.
Destacamento kasulong kan.
The award to be presented on this ceremony is the Philippine Legion of Honor. This is awarded to officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines for commendable and outstanding service rendered to the Filipino nation and its people.
Destacamento to.
We would like to request our honoree to join the color detail on the ground.
Mahal na Pangulo, narito na po ang taong pararangalan at ang mga watawat. Tanghal. Ta!
Please rise for the honors of the nation.
Kalupunan, hugay kumay. Ta!
Beras ng silanganan, alaw ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiiting, sa manlulubig, di ka pasisiil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal, ang kaslap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim, lupa ng araw ng walhati pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Kalupunan, baba kumay. Na!
Thank you. Please be seated.
Baba! Ta!
We would like to request the honorary awardee to come up the grandstand for the presentation of award.
reporter tayo na tayo. Reporter tayo na tayo. Ano yung kado ba? Oo, ano yung kado.
We'd like to request everyone to please all stand as we witness the presentation of award. The Chief of the Presidential Protocol, Mr. Robert Borge, will read the citation of the award.
Citation reads, Palasyo ng Malacanang, alamin ng lahat na makababasa nito na ako, si Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Pangulo ng Pilipinas, sa bisa ng kapangyarihang ipinagkaloob sa akin ng batas, sa pamamagitan nito, itinala sa listahan ng Lehiyong Pandangal ng Pilipinas, ang pangalang Teniente General Glorioso V. Miranda, namumunong general o buong katihan ng Pilipinas, na may ranggong komandante o commander. Isinagawa sa lungsod ng Maynila, may ika-5 araw ng Oktubre sa taon ng ating Panginoon, 2017.
We would like to request Mrs. Caroline M. Miranda, ma'am, to join her husband as he receives the award. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte is requested to present the award to be assisted by the Secretary of National Defense, Delphine N. Lorenzana. Congratulations to Lieutenant General Glorioso Ventura Miranda. Thank you very much to President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, to the Secretary of National Defense, and to Mrs. Miranda. Please be seated.
Mga watawat, sumunod na... Kan!
Nagalat, no? Diretso yung pagkakita.
Nasamahan kita dyan.
Dako ba yan? Dako?
Dax.
Dax.
Dakota.
TUP, Dax.
Hindi mga bisita yan. Nadayo.
Dax. Dahil puta.
Taga-PUP rin to ko yan. Taga-PUP. Ito naman dayo to.
PUP to to. Walang tuda.
Ano doon ha?
Makapihing ito.
VIP yan siguro. VIP. High school graduate na. IT. IT graduate.
As we proceed with the change of command ceremony of the Philippine Army, we enjoin you to rise for the invocation, with Colonel Fernando G. Gaila, Army Chief Chaplain, officiating.
Papasay ka sa ano? Papasay ka pa sa dito. Ano si Dempsey?
Let us pray. Most gracious and loving Father, Lord of heaven and earth, full of gratitude in our hearts, we thank you for this wonderful day. We beseech you, dear God, to listen to our prayers and supplications as we gather for the testimonial review in honor of Lieutenant General Glorioso V. Miranda, AFP, the outgoing Commanding General of the Philippine Army, who has dedicated the best years of his life in the armed forces of the Philippines, and now relinquishes command of the Philippine Army today. We ask you to keep your hands upon him as he retires. Help him, Lord, in all his undertakings in the civilian world. May he experience true fulfillment in the years ahead. Finally, may this occasion be for us a time to inspire and renew our commitment and dedication to serve the organization to the best of our abilities, as we welcome also our new Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Major General Rolando Bautista, Armed Forces of the Philippines. May your strength enable us to serve our people and to protect our land. May your providence keep us safe. Help us turn our hearts towards you each and every moment of our life. All this we ask in the name of our Savior Jesus Christ, who sustain our life. Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. The Adjutant General, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Colonel Maxima O. Ignacio, will read the relief and designation orders.
General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. General Orders number 1119, published on 04 October 2017. Section 1, Termination. Designation of Lieutenant General Glorioso V. Miranda, Officer DAS 8762, Armed Forces of the Philippines, as Commanding General, Philippine Army, is terminated effective 05 October 2017. Section 2, Designation. Major General Rolando Joselito D. Bautista, Officer DAS 9303, Armed Forces of the Philippines, is designated as Commanding General, Philippine Army, effective 05 October 2017, by command of General and Official Narciso A. Binson Jr., Vice Admiral, Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Deputy Chief of Staff, signed, Maxima O. Ignacio, Colonel, Philippine Air Force, General Staff Corps, the Adjutant General.
The outgoing Commanding General of the Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Glorioso V. Miranda, will read and sign the order for his relinquishment of command.
Headquarters, Philippine Army, Office of the Commanding General, Office Order number 01, dated 5 October 2017, relinquishment of command. Pursuant to Section 1, General Orders number 1119, General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, dated 4 October 2017, I hereby relinquish the position as the Commanding General, Philippine Army, effective this date, and I sign in your presence.
The outgoing Commanding General, Philippine Army, will order the Command Sergeant Major, Chief Master Sergeant Roberto D. Jimenez to hold down his personal flag.
Sergeant Major, retrieve and turn in my personal flag.
The personal flag is a symbol of leadership. It denotes command and responsibility of the one in charge. On this occasion of the Philippine Army's change of command ceremony, the lowering of the personal flag of the outgoing Commanding General signifies relinquishment of command and responsibility, as well as the closure of a brilliant military career.
The encased personal flag of the outgoing Commanding General of Philippine Army will now be presented by the Command Sergeant Major. The incoming Commanding General of Philippine Army, Major General Rolando Joselito D. Bautista, will read and sign the order for his assumption of command.
Headquarters, Philippine Army, Office of the Commanding General, Fort Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila. Office Orders number 0205, October 2017. Assumption of command. Pursuant to Section 2, General Orders number 119, General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, dated 04 October 2017. I hereby assume the position as Commanding General, Philippine Army, effective this date. In your presence, I sign.
We shall now witness the handover of the command symbol to be presided by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. The saber is a symbol of consistency and steadfastness. This represents responsibility. Saber is linked with military management and warfare. As the new Commanding General, Philippine Army, Major General Rolando Joselito D. Bautista will give his first order to the Command Sergeant Major to raise his personal flag. This will be followed by his remarks.
Sergeant Major, raise my personal flag.
The first order of the new Commanding General as he assumed command is the raising of his personal flag. This marks the presence of a general who will steer the wheel of the command, that of an organization like the Philippine Army.
Pag nag-retiro kasi three.
Our guest of honor and speaker, the President and Commander-in-Chief of all Armed Forces, Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Secretary of National Defense, Delphine Lorenzana and Mrs. Lorenzana, Secretary Bongo, Malacanang officials led by Executive Secretary Salvador Villartea, General Eduardo M. Año, the Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and Mrs. Jean Jocelyn Maria Año, the outgoing Commanding General, Philippine Army, Lieutenant General Glorioso B. Miranda, and Mrs. Caroline Miranda, Major Service Commanders, former Commanding Generals of the Philippine Army, Medal for Valor awardees, DND officials present, Unified Commanders, members of the AFP Joint Staff, counterparts in the PNP led by Deputy Director General Apolinario, the PMA class of 93 and their ladies, PMA Sandiwa class of 1985 and their ladies. May I request you to stand to be recognized? Please start. Ma'am Isabel and Doctora Isa Suntay of Tarlac Heritage Foundation, Lieutenant General Anthony Alcantara and Ma'am Bubbles Alcantara, my sisters Ate Neneng and Ate Tina, members of the Philippine Army Multi-Sectoral Advisory Board, Philippine Army Major Unit Commanders, members of the Foreign Armed Forces Attachés, other general and flag officers present, troopers of Presidential Security Group, members of the XPA General Technical and Special Staff, Chief Master Sergeant Roberto Jimenez, the Army Sergeant Major, Congressman Loyola and Mike Salvador, officers, enlisted personnel, civilian employees of the Philippine Army, ladies and gentlemen, magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Today, the Philippine Army and the Armed Forces of the Philippines are both held in high esteem by the citizenry for their bravery, valor, heroism, and integrity. Having just left the main battle area in Marawi on the 3rd of October, I carry with me a message from the bravest of the brave at the front lines. There is no greater honor for a soldier than to be able to make the supreme sacrifice of laying down his own life in the service of God and country. I have never witnessed such dedication to duty and to country in my close to 36 years of military service, as I saw as head of the Joint Task Force Marawi, where even the wounded rushed their convalescence and requested for early discharge from the hospital just to hasten redeployment to Marawi in order to stand up and be counted among their comrades. On top of this, I was witness to the extreme dedication of President and our Commander-in-Chief, attempting to come several times in the thick of the fight, but getting turned back twice by bad weather, just to let his troops know that he is one with them and will support them all the way. In a little over a year, I shall be ending my stint in the service. I never imagined I would be standing here before you today as the newly designated Commanding General of the Philippine Army. I thank Mary, our Mother, and the good Lord for their blessings, while I implore their help for guidance and deliverance in the year ahead. Thank you to President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, our Commander-in-Chief, for his trust and confidence. Allow me to also express my gratitude to Secretary Lorenzana, sir, General Anyo, sir, and to my predecessor, Lieutenant General Miranda, sir, for believing in my ability to lead the Philippine Army as it takes on new challenges in a changing world. Thank you to my family, my wife Shirley Ann, and my children Ralph, Jamie, Gabriel, and Thea, who have been my inspiration and source of strength through the years. We will build on what we have at the present time, while opening our mind to other possibilities in the realm as stated by the evolving times. Terrorist groups have had the luxury and finding to reinvent themselves and create a new type of conflict. We have suddenly found ourselves forced out of the comforts of jungle warfare into urban areas with dense populations, coupled with a barrage of terroristic social media propaganda, things our foot soldiers were not schooled in. By the way, Troop Commander, kindly give our troops tikas pahinga.
Ikaw
Go! Nevertheless, it is a challenge for the incoming leadership to make the Philippine Army adaptable and relevant to the dictates of the times. Definitely, terrorism, fanaticism, and the advocating of radical social or political reforms have no place in peace-loving countries. Our institution must confront these problems based on a multi-sectoral approach. Intelligence operations must be beefed up so that groups such as these cannot gain a foothold in the country. The involvement of members of the community in information gathering and the development of harmonious interpersonal relationship with the people and their leaders, while showing respect for their religious and cultural beliefs, should pave the way for peace in potential areas of conflict. We must strive to modernize our available technology, weaponry, and skill training abilities. Civil-military operations must be updated to focus on the needs of a particular group of people, in keeping with the Army's objectives, in accordance with the Army Transformation Roadmap. Our officers and each and every soldier should always try to find ways to better themselves and work cohesively in the service of the people through education, training programs, innovations, research and development, and people-centered activities. To ensure the free-flowing of ideas, the betterment of the Philippine Army as a whole, the establishment of an Operation Research Center will be pursued to harness the intellect and motivate every trooper to bring out his best to come up with guidelines, techniques, and innovations on how to better our present setup and manner of doing things. I will carry on with the programs of the commanders before me and sustain the gains that the Philippine Army has achieved to date. In keeping with President Duterte's call for transparency, let us justify with logical and sound reasons our goals and match them with our available resources to make our plans feasible. John Maxwell said, "Leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others." Let me remind each and every one of us in the service that Section 1 of Article 11 of the 1987 Constitution entitled Accountability of Public Officers states, "Public office is a public trust. Public officers and employees must, and at all times, be accountable to the people. Serve them with utmost responsibility, integrity, loyalty, and efficiency. Act with patriotism and justice, and lead modest lives." To our outgoing commander, Lieutenant General Miranda, sir, as you leave the service, allow me to thank you on behalf of your troops for a very job well done. Rest assured that we will build on the foundations that you have laid, and collectively, we will strive to achieve new heights. We wish you all the best in the next chapter of your life. The leadership of the Philippine Army under my watch shall work in unison on new trusts which have come to my attention after staying in Marawi from May 23 to October 3, 2017. 1. Maximizing troop effort by enabling our soldiers to focus on their job without additional burdens in mind. We will look into programs that alleviate the worries of our soldiers, which are no different from other Filipinos: shelter, education, healthcare, and livelihood for their families. 2. Strengthening our CMO unit's stakeholders' participation and lead them towards selfless private and government partnerships which empower people-centered volunteerism that will win the hearts and minds of the people while serving communities. The Army will continue to lead and assist in the rebuilding of Marawi City, just like what we did in Barangay Pito, Buadi, Itoa of the said city last October 2, where government agencies, namely the Department of National Defense, the General Headquarters, and 3 units of the Philippine Army, the 1st Infantry Tabak Division, 54th Engineer Brigade, and the Mechanized Infantry Division, came together in the spirit of bayanihan with volunteers from the private sector, not asking for any favor from the government. The Chinese Filipino Business Club Incorporated, headed by its president, Mr. Willie Chuayap, and the ever-supportive Tarlac Heritage Foundation, co-founded by Ma'am Isabel and Isa Suntay, to build a green, self-sustained community measuring 1.2 hectares at said barangay, which will be home to 50 families of the Marawi conflict in what is called an immediate shelter and accommodation for the internally displaced peoples, or IDPs. It is designed by Filipinos and crafted by the soldiers and capos of the Philippine Army. The administration of President Duterte, as represented by the above said government agencies, and these generous and selfless donors have given the IDPs of Marawi City the dignity and respect that they especially need during this critical period in terms of their lives, to enable them to return back to normalcy. This showcases the ingenuity and talent of our soldiers in nation building, a Filipino version of the Pop-Up tent. 3, we must work towards encouraging a new role for reservists who played a part in helping us attain our security goals in Marawi. Reservists, ROTC cadets, and even CAT trainees in high schools may all be put to good use for the benefit of our national security goals. 4, making the most of military cooperation with foreign counterparts to boost and upgrade our strategic and tactical gains, while at the same time enabling us to better our capabilities. As the newly designated Commanding General of the Philippine Army's 87 strong soldiers, I give each and every one of you my wholehearted support and absolute dedication to duty. Your welfare and well-being shall be my primary concern. Together, let us harness one another's potentials toward the realization of a dynamic Philippine Army, one that is morally and spiritually upright and truly cares while being of service to its people. Let our resourcefulness, trailblazing, and creativity be one that our citizens will admire. May the spirit of bayanihan see us through in all our undertakings, for together our 80,007 deeds can account for a whole lot of good. Finally, may I ask everyone to always offer a prayer for the heroes of Marawi and their loved ones, being counted with each and every one of you who were and still are in Marawi, the killed in action, the wounded in action, and the troops still fighting it out in the main battle area is a privilege and an honor for me. May the memories of all the heroes in Marawi live on in the hearts and minds of the Filipino people, whom they unstintingly serve in the line of duty to ensure that peace reigns in this country. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay ang buong katiyan ng Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang Republika ng Pilipinas.
Thank you very much. The new Commanding General of Philippine Army, Major General Bautista Sr. We shall now witness the retirement ceremony of Lieutenant General Glorioso Ventura Miranda. Lieutenant General Miranda, sir, please stand and step forward as the retirement order is read by the Adjutant General, Armed Forces of the Philippines.
Republic of the Philippines, Department of National Defense, General Headquarters, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Camp General Emilio Aguinaldo, Quezon City. General Orders Number 768, published on 10 July 2017. Compulsory retirement. Pursuant to Sections 5A and 17 of Presidential Decree Number 1638 as amended, and in consonance with Presidential Administrative Order Number 150, dated 04 January 1990, Lieutenant General Glorioso V. Miranda, Officer DAS 8762, Armed Forces of the Philippines, having completed 38 years, 6 months, and 7 days of active military service in the Armed Forces of the Philippines from 01 April 1979 to 07 October 2017, is compulsorily retired in the rank of Lieutenant General with retirement pay based on the salary grade of General with fifth longevity pay effective 08 October 2017 by order of the Secretary of National Defense, Official Eduardo M. Año, General, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Chief of Staff, signed Maxima O. Ignacio, Colonel, Philippine Air Force, General Staff Corps, the Adjutant General.
General Miranda, sir, please remain in front as we proceed with the presentation of the command plaque, plaque of honorable service, and the encased Philippine flag. The citation of the plaques will be read by the Army Adjutant, Colonel Albert G. Baybayan.
Headquarters, Philippine Army, Port Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila. General Order Number 867, published on 04 October 2017. The command plaque is hereby awarded to Lieutenant General Glorioso B. Miranda, ODAS 8762, Armed Forces of the Philippines, for outstanding and meritorious service rendered to the Armed Forces of the Philippines in support of the command's trusts and initiatives for peace and development, as well as for his faithful service to our country and people from 01 April 1979 to 07 October 2017. Given this 5th day of October 2017 at Headquarters, Philippine Army, Port Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila. Signed, Rolando Joselito B. Bautista, Major General, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Commanding General, Philippine Army.
Mrs. Caroline M. Miranda is requested to join your husband. The President is requested to present the plaques to be assisted by the Secretary of National Defense.
Headquarters, Philippine Army, Port Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila. Plaque of Honorable Service is presented to Lieutenant General Glorioso B. Miranda, ODAS 8762, Armed Forces of the Philippines, in recognition of his 38 years, 6 months, and 7 days of faithful and honorable continuous service rendered to the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine Army from 01 April 1979 to 07 October 2017. Given this 5th day of October 2017 at Headquarters, Philippine Army, Port Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila. Signed, Rolando Joselito D. Bautista, Major General, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Commanding General, Philippine Army.
The encased Philippine flag is presented to Lieutenant General Glorioso V. Miranda as a symbol of his faithful and unwavering commitment and dedication to the Filipino nation and its people whom he served.
Headquarters, Philippine Army, Port Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila. Plaque of appreciation is presented to Mrs. Caroline M. Miranda in recognition of her enduring support and understanding for her spouse, Lieutenant General Glorioso B. Miranda, Armed Forces of the Philippines. Her commitment to serve as a source of strength and inspiration for her spouse and in holding the family are indicative of her immense trust and faith in the Philippine soldier and the military institution. Her patience and dedication exemplify the virtues that empower military spouses and strengthen their households and families. Given this 5th day of October 2017 at Headquarters Philippine Army, Port Andres Bonifacio, Metro Manila. Signed, Rolando Joselito D. Bautista, Major General, Armed Forces of the Philippines, Commanding General, Philippine Army.
Congratulations, Lieutenant General and Mrs. Miranda. Thank you to Mr. President and the Secretary of National Defense. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our honoree for his valedictory address, Lieutenant General Glorioso Ventura Miranda.
Our guest of honor and presiding officer, our Commander-in-Chief, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Executive Secretary Salvador Medaldea, Secretary of National Defense, Secretary Delphine N. Lorenzana, General Eduardo Año, Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of the Philippines, and I would like to greet, of course, Mrs. Caroline Miranda, and all the members of my family who are present here. I believe they are all here. The newly installed Commanding General of the Philippine Army, my successor, Major General Rolando Joselito Bautista, the Vice Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Melchor Mison, the Deputy Chief of Staff, Vice Admiral Bingson, and I would like to greet the Major Service Commanders, Lieutenant General Edgar R. Palurina, Commander of the Philippine Air Force, Vice Admiral Ronald Joseph Mercado, Flag Officer in Command, Philippine Navy, and of course, my immediate family, to my mamang, Virginia Miranda, yung aking mother. Mother, thank you very much for coming, who traveled all along from La Union. And I have with me my only brother, Joe Miranda. And so with the other relatives that are present here, yung aking mga kadugo, yung aking pinanggalingan sa San Fernando, La Union. And having said that, let me also greet my second family from Davao Occidental, no other than Governor Claudio Bautista. Aking second family po yan. Andito po yung anak niya, si Dindi. Former Commanding Generals of the Philippine Army, DND officials, Malacanang officials present, unified commanders who are present here, other generals and flag officers present, members of the PMA Maticas class of 1983 and their ladies. Mamista, please stand up. My last request. Members of the Multi-Sector Advisory Board, members of the Foreign Armed Forces Attaches, HPA Generals, personnel, special and technical staff, officers, enlisted personnel, civilian employees of the Philippine Army and other guests, Master Sergeant, Chief Sergeant Pandungan, DAP Sergeant Major, CMS Roberto Jimenez, ladies and gentlemen, ating kung kasamang mga kasundaluhan, magandang tanghali sa ating lahat. With your permission, sir, may I give the troops tikas penga?
Tikas! Ha! Kurang, tikas. No?
Isang magandang hapon sa ating lahat. It has been almost a year since I stood here in the same spot on orders of leading the Philippine Army. the premier land force of our country. Indeed, it was a great honor and privilege to have been bestowed with the trust and confidence of our nation's leaders to take command of the Philippine Army, which proved to be one of the most challenging acts of leadership I have ever faced in my military career. A challenge I took with the determination to remain mission-focused as we endeavor to transform into a better institution, truly ready and capable of serving our people and securing the land. I came at a time that the fast-changing security landscape put to test the Army's capabilities to be adaptive and relevant as it faced threats, both natural and man-made, so to speak. Ang malaking paghamon na ating hinarap ay hindi lamang kung paano natin kinailangang baguhin ang ating pag-iisip bilang makabagong mga pinuno at sundalo, kung hindi, pati na rin kung paano tayo mag-isip bilang isang institusyon. I always believe that if it works, then it must be obsolete. Thus, we need to transform, we needed to evolve fast and the quickest we can in order to become more relevant and in order to think faster against all odds. At ako ay nagpapasalamat dahil sa loob ng aking termino ay nakiisa kayo sa ating hangarin na magdulot ng pagbabago para sa ikabubuti ng ating institusyon. With the lack of better word, we shook things up. We made paradigm shifts to address systemic problems for us to be more relevant in addressing current and emerging security concerns. We made steps that will bring us closer to becoming more adaptive to the digital age through a soldier-oriented, knowledge-based management system. We endeavor to decide based on truth rather than spend time deciding what is true. We restructured ourselves in order to become a stronger pillar of our nation's defense, and I thank you for making all this possible by working as one team Army. The Army has played vital roles in the AP's accomplishments under the Department of National Defense Strategic Guidelines. Your Army supported the security operations nationwide by providing the bulk of fighting force and have worked in conjunction with the Philippine Navy, the Philippine Air Force, and other law enforcement agencies to defeat security threats. We have sustained our fighting troops in conflict areas, especially in Marawi, by continuously providing critical requirements such as logistical supplies, unimpeded lines of communication, timely information, combat support, and combat service support. We fast-tracked the reawakening of the 500 Engineering Combat Battalion, which has been dormant for the last 70 years. We also activated the Logistics Support Brigade. The Philippine Army continuously supported the government's campaign against organized crime, illegal drugs, terrorism, and corruption by ensuring that the organization remained a drug-free organization, stepping up interagency response to lawlessness and sustaining accountability and transparency in all its undertakings. Your Army also continued to support the government's development plans, working in conjunction with various stakeholders to bring the basic services and amenities to remote communities or conflict and disaster-affected areas. The organization has implemented the comprehensive social benefits program of the Office of the President for the bereaved families of personnel who were killed and wounded in action, particularly in Marawi, to ensure that the welfare and of their families and shorten the processing of their claims. The Philippine Army has stepped up its recruitment efforts to help increase the manpower readiness of all Army major units. This is in accordance with the additional quota given to the AFP by the Commander-in-Chief. Maraming salamat po, sir, sa dagdag na quota, sir. Your Army has also enhanced its capability to maintain peace and order in priority areas through the mobilization and deployment of ready reserve units to support regular troops in the conduct of respective tasks. The organization continued its pursuit for reform initiative for the Army Transformation Roadmap 2028 to ensure that the Philippine Army remain an institution of excellence and a beacon of good governance in public service. We developed a knowledge-based management system with the creation of the Army Management Information Systems Committee that facilitates the integration of all Army information resources into one database accessible through the Command's Network Operations Center. To strengthen this initiative, information technology is now a military occupational specialty for enlisted personnel. Your Army has implemented the organizational development of units such as the Army Intelligence Regiment, the Civil Military Operations Regiment, inactivated the 54th Engineering Brigade and the 5th Scout Ranger Battalion to be better poised to cope with the demands of an ever-expanding role the Army in support to the AAP's development support and security plan kapayapaan. The Army has enhanced the Army Reserve Command as a functional level command together with the Training and Doctrines Command, Army Support Command, and Special Operations Command. The Army Reserve Command now serves as the gateway for recruitment and the pre-entry training center for both reserve and the regular force. To increase our soldiers' warfighting capabilities and competencies, and to increase combat survivability, the Army has given them various modern weaponry and force protection equipment, as well as up-to-date and relevant training, such as military operations in urban terrain. The Combat Readiness Training Area, or CRTA, in Fort Magsaysay is being developed to support the joint and combined arms exercises. Command continues to conduct joint trainings with counterparts from allied countries with special focus on counter-terrorism operations and enhancing humanitarian assistance and disaster response capability. Your Army also advanced professional growth opportunities for every Army personnel through the Philippine Army ladderized leadership training and educational system. It helps provide broader skills that are beneficial for careers inside and outside the military service. Together, we made all this possible because we remain focused in one mission, that of making our institution better and stronger. An institution worthy of the gallantry and courage of every Filipino soldier who has chosen to serve. An institution that our fellow Filipinos can rely upon and be proud of. Ako ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong lahat at sa bawat Pilipino na nagpakita ng suporta sa ating mga sundalo. I am grateful to have seen the change by which our people now see our men and women in uniform, not with fear and apprehension, but with hope, pride, and compassion. Lalo pong lumalakas ang aming loob sa tuwing malalaman namin na nandyan lang kayo na patuloy na nagdarasal para sa kaligtasan ng ating mga sundalong lumalaban. Nagpapasalamat din kami sa inyong pakikiisa sa pagdadalamhati sa bawat sundalong nagbuwis ng kanyang buhay. Even the commanding general, however, I realize that there are still other things that remain beyond my control. Beyond my control, ideas, concepts, initiatives that can further develop the Philippine Army and bring its service to the country and Filipino people to greater heights. I therefore urge our partners in the executive, legislative, and judiciary branch of the government, along with other stakeholders from various sectors, to continue to support your Army. Send your best and brightest to work with us and help the Army realize its fullest potential in fulfilling its core purpose of serving the people and securing the land. To my successor, great challenges lie ahead. Great responsibilities are made to rest only on the shoulders of great men. I have full confidence in your abilities to lead this group of heroes that make up the Philippine Army. And by the way, incidentally, General Bautista, now the Commanding General Philippine Army, we were together when we were lieutenants. I was the operations officer of the Mountain Battalion, the 1st Scout Ranger Regiment, and I saw there, nakasama ko, si Lieutenant Bautista at that time, a platoon leader, and eventually became a company commander. There is not much to say except that nung pagsasama namin doon sa Mountain Battalion ng Ranger, nagsama sa mga magigipit na panahon, tight moments so to speak. And the thing that I can say, I don't recall any mission or orders Lieutenant Bautista at that time ever failed. And so, with that, I am very confident now that he is at the head of the Philippine Army. We all need to remain mission-focused. Sa aking pamilya, salamat din sa inyong pakikiisa sa aking misyon. Thank you for all patience and sacrifices sa aking mamang. To my mother, every time I go home, for whatever reason I cannot understand, umiiyak palagi. Huwag na kayo umiyak, mother. Dahil when I left home 38 years ago, my mother and my father, who actually passed away a few weeks ago, hindi na nakapagintay, never expected me to go back home alive. But just the same, tulad nga ng sabi ko, Mang, andito na ako, yung anak niyo si Dobby, agawi din. My service is also your service. Ang aking tatay, who passed away at 92 years old a few weeks ago, at ang aking bili niya sa akin na sa last wish, kayong magkakapatid, magsama-sama kayo, at ang inyong mamang, mahina na ako, kaya, Mang, don't worry about that. Me and my brothers and sisters are all here to support you. Relax lang. At this point, I would like to present to our Commander-in-Chief my tour of duty report that I may lack the verbal narrative to describe it. And we did a supplemental copy book. In your light moments, sir, you might want to scan. My mission as a soldier of this republic has ended. As a final act of my soldierly devotion, allow me to render one snappy salute to all of you who shall continue to serve our people and secure our land. Tunay na isang malaking karangalan ang magserbisyo at lumaban para sa Pilipino. To my Commander-in-Chief, President, the Chief of Staff, General Lanyo, the Secretary of National Defense, Sir, all orders are complied, Sir. Now, Lieutenant General Miranda signing off. Now, Mr. Miranda signing off. Tunay na isang malaking karangalan talaga ang magserbisyo sa inyo. Muli, maraming salamat. Mabuhay ang mukbong katiyan ng Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang Armed Forces. Mabuhay ang bansang Pilipinas.
Thank you very much, General Miranda, sir, for your words.
Mga sampanaw! Sa!
The guest of honor and presiding officer will be introduced by the Secretary of National Defense, Delphine N. Lorenzana.
Mga kababayan, mga kaibigan at mga panauhin, ang ating pinakamamahal na Pangulo, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Kindly sit down. Thank you for the courtesy. Troop Commander, sir, could you give the tikas pahinga for the men?
Tikas. Ha! Lipunan. Tikas. Ha!
Thank you, sir. Executive Secretary Salvador Mijaldía, Secretary Delphine Lorenzana, AFP Chief of Staff General Eduardo Anyo, Lieutenant General Glorioso Miranda, Major Rolando Joselito Bautista, and the other major service commanders, the officers, enlisted men, and the civilian employees of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, mga kasama ko sa gobyerno, mga minamahal kong kababayan. Let me just put aside itong prepared speech. If you want, it's just 2 pages for so many thousands, sir. Kaya naman ito, but dagdag muna natin ng medyo importante. One that comes from my heart. I'm sure that you have noticed every about 2 or 3 minutes, a plane is on the pattern to land. And that is how we need to improve our infrastructures and airports. Isa lang po iyan for all domestic and international dito sa Naya. We need money to expand. And so, we are not that rich. The economy is expanding a little bit, but it is not enough for our needs because we are now breaching the 100 million Filipinos. Actually, about 109 million. Napakalaki ang gastusin po yan. At I am in a quandary how to deliver equally the essential services to the country. Health, education, lahat na. And I know that my armed forces and my police, PNP, kailangan mag-upgrade. Kailangan ng mga bagong equipment to cope up with the present challenges of today, especially terrorism. Parang nahihirapan ho tayo dito. We have to revise the doctrines actually because we are facing an enemy that is well entrenched. And it is an urban fighting, and as an experience from the Middle East, takes a lot about half a year or 3 months, and I am not surprised, and you should not be surprised that it has taken this long really to move inch for inch because of the prepositioned maneuvers by the enemies and the fact that you have to breach semento pati bakal, and that takes a lot of hard work. Kaya inabot tayo ng ganito kasi the terrain has changed considerably. Maybe you'd want to take a look at seriously at how Mosul, Aleppo, and the rest of the territories that have been taken now and how long it has been for them to do it. It's almost 1 year, 2 years. Maswerte tayo dito in a very short time, and I would credit it to the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the toil of the Philippine National Police. Hindi ho madali yung trabaho na yun. And that is why to show my solidarity with you, and of course, the pain that my soldiers and my policemen are dying. And that is why if I could make it sometimes I go to Marawi just to be with you and talk to you. Kasi po ako yung nag-declare ng martial law. And ako yung I sent you there for some to die, to be brutal about it. I do not want it. I would never have thought I would have done it. But because of the terroristic activities all over the world, we have to meet the challenges. And in the process, talagang i-declare ko, or else I would be impeached for not only the ignorance but maybe the outright gross negligence of a president. So wala ho akong magawa. It was to the higher interest of the nation, because our duty, my duty, are fundamentally the same. And when I talk my oath of office, and you'd understand, read it between the lines, and it says there in abbreviated form, just like yours, that our duty, in not so many few words, is to protect the people and preserve the Republic of the Philippines. That is why it is a burden to me as it is on you. You are not less important than me. And so you are all co-workers in government. It's just a matter of the echelons of order. And that is it, because we are a democracy and we elect leader. Hanggang dyan lang. Kaya those elected, even if they turn out to be son of a bitch, pagka pinili ng tao, talaga magtitiis ka sa, yan ang pinili ng tao eh. Problem is, unfortunately, some really are and some are not. So, ito ang proposal ni Dominguez. I know that wala kaming definite source. I promise to leave you a 50 billion just for education. Kasi limitado, well, it's free. Sagot na naman lahat. It includes everybody. But yung, 5 years, 4 years, and then there are really some brilliant Filipinos coming from the families of the soldiers who would be an asset to the country. And it behooves upon us to support their education well beyond the normal years of getting a good education. Doctor, abogado, accountant, hindi ito matatapos. Yung mga tatay namin, AA lang Associate in Arts. Tapos, pwede na sila sa bar, College of Law, then sa bar. Kaming inabot namin, sigod 9 years. Pati kung paghintay sa result sa bar, it's about 10 years. So, alam ko na mahirapan tayo. Kita maglanding na naman ito. How do we absorb the people and the aircrafts? We are hard put really for money. So ganito ang proposal ni Dominguez. By the way, the next assignment of General Miranda, mga first week of November. Huwag naman yun sa araw ng patay. Maybe a few days after, because we all go home to the provinces to honor our dead, he will be serving in the board. Alam mo kasi, itong basis conversion authority board, walang military. Inyo to eh. Pati ang clerk. Sabi ni Dominguez, give it to the armed forces. You can join any venture with the private, joint venture. Or ipalis na lang yun long term. Ang yung makuha ninyo na pera, malaki ito. And I'll give you a land, you can choose. Total sundalo naman kaya. You can choose the Clark Air Base or any other base that's not operating. You can convert it to an ordinary campo then with an airstrip. Maghanap na lang kayo. I'll give you this place. Lahat nito with a one sole condition. Yung lahat kikitain ninyo, diretso sa inyo. At gawain ninyo ang gusto ninyong gawin to modernize. Pera yan. Malaking pera yan. Just start to list here sa mga trillion ito. But I would need the money in the coming years also to meet your expenses. For one, baka hindi alam ng mga asawa ninyo, dublado na yung sweldo ninyo come January. Nakita ko doon sa schedule, ang pinakamalaking kita, ang mga general. Kasali na yung nag-retire. Ang sa retire, mabuti, kaya mag-happy-happy na lang sila sa sweldo nila. Yung nasa active, talagang pagpapawisan mo pa. So then I promise that before I leave, which is a very, very short time constraint, about mga 4 years na lang, 5. I would want to leave the presidency with a strong army and a strong police. If the police must better come up with a standard of discipline. That's one statement that I can give you today. But we need the equipment to meet the challenges. Gusto ko yung strong army, not for anything. Wala silang matakot yan. Ay, gamitin mo yung army para baka kurni naman yan. After my term or earlier, maybe I will go. But I must live with a strong army that would really be capable of a simultaneous attack. Archipelago tayo. I would not want to invent a situation because I would be suggesting something that is lousy. You can just imagine, we are fighting the new People's Army. At this stage, I am not ready to talk to them because it is not good for the country. Kung para lang sa bayan, okay yan. But the way that it is now, ayaw ko. And maybe it would take some time to, maybe another president to do it. Sabi ko, it's been 50 years. Estudyante ako noon, nakikinig naman ako kay Season. But alam mo, pagkabata ka ba, you're full of, mayroon pang naiwan, kunti na lang. Tanda ka na, it's full of ideal set of what you want the world to be. But when you get older, alam mo na this is not really possible. That life is really unfair. It ain't really fair. So ganun talaga ang setup ng, I don't know, but maybe when I go there, matanong ko ang Panginoong Diyos kung bakit ganun. So yan na, ang deal natin, tanggapin ninyo yan sa panahon ko. Wala na kayong ibang panahon na ibigay ko sa inyo, and you can fund the modernization, buy all the equipments you need to meet the challenges way ahead. Yan na lang ang maiwan ko sa inyo. At kung may kunting sobra, huwag ninyo ipagbili because this belongs to the armed forces of the Philippines. Nobody is taking it from you. Hindi ito for sale kagaya ng iba. No. Just this 50 years, and you have the income, you have, aside from the regular annual budgetary needs that you have, may pang sarili pa kayo na bibili ninyo ito, what's the idea, helicopters for example. You know, that's very important in insertions of troops right now in Mindanao. Nasasaktan nga ako, sinabi ko sa leadership, ilang beses na tayo when you leave the camp, and a few minutes later, there's an ambush. So, can you find a way of getting to your destination without this? I leave it up to you. But if I have the money, I'll buy you the helicopters, but not that much. But if you can just avoid the situations that I'm talking about, it really pains me that we would be at the receiving end when we are stronger at mas matapang ang sundalo ko kaysa kanila. And yet sometimes we have a wallop. So these are the things that you have to improve on. And that is my deal. I said, nobody is taking your land, it's yours. Go into a joint venture or lease it on a long term. The money that is generated would be yours. And kung hindi ka ba naman makabili ng bagong eroplano, ewan ko na. Karaming, itong lupa na ito, it is a very sentimental journey for that. But, you know, I said, we have to move on. And, ang maitulong na lang ninyo sa bayan is maghanap na lang kayong ng sariling pera para sa inyo. And this could involve trillions. Palagay ko pa naman, baski you can change your salary, improve on your salary every 6 months, okay na siguro yan. But the most important thing that you must know is that dito sa ating, ayoko na basahin to kasi itong sa surveys, this would show that the Philippine Army's impressive plus 75 net trust rating sa ating bayan. First semester of 2017 is a testament of our troops' commitment to protect our people and defend the democratic rights. Maintain your loyalty to the Constitution and to the flag. Do not nurture a personal or a person dyan. Kaming lahat dyan sa gobyerno, dumadaan lang. But it behooves upon you, I said, to see to it that this country will grow, prosper, until the end of time. Kaya nga tayo dito, because one day, your son, grandson, will be standing there or here in the stage, running the affairs of the country. Bago ako magtapos, talagang sumasaludo ako kay John Miranda. That is why automatic he will be a member of the board sa itong conversion na ito. Nagpapatakbo nito, walang military dyan. So, tinawagan ko si Dominguez. Sabi ko kay Bong, tawagan mo si Dominguez, tignan ko kung I need somebody there from your sector para masabi niyo, tinitignan niyo kung paano takbo. And if there is corruption, pwede bugbugin mo dyan mismo sa kulatahin mo. And ito naman si Role has been in the Mindanao area for quite some time. During my term as mayor, and pati si John Anyo, pati lahat sa inyo, almost who passed by Mindanao, nagkakilala tayo. Never mind my politics. Pang ano lang yan, pang patawa lang yan. May trabaho. Never mind about yung huwag kayong maniwala. Yan, sabi ko nga, you have my, that if it will exceed the 40 million mark, and that is my lifetime savings, including my hereditary properties. Sabi ko nga, please oust me if I tell a lie to you. So, may I request the commander of the troops to give the order to stand at attention. I would just like to show you standing straight.
Mga sampanaw! Ta!
Ito, ginagawa ko ito sa lahat ng lugar. Baski saan, Kasi ako pa military lang. Pretend lang ako kasi si Sir. Sa totoo talaga since kindergarten, wala akong medalya yung ganong karami. Baski tansan, wala. Sa malas ko. Okay, look at the planes that are coming in. We have to improve. So kanya-kanya tayong dito. I will give you a chance to improve on everything. But before I end my speech, let me stand before you.
Thank you very much to President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Please be seated. We shall proceed with a pass and review.
Kalipunan, sa malikod ko.
Snappy, ha?
Kan.
Uy!
Pasamasid.
Harap sa kanan.
Tatakbo pa ng good
Hop!
streak yan.
Harap sa kanan. Hop!
Sa kanang balikat.
Grabe, oh.
Ha!
Tagalogin mo naman yung pasasalamat mo.
Talupad. Unang talupad. Pasulong. Cut!
Today, Lieutenant General Glorioso V. Miranda steps down from his post as he closes his colorful and vibrant military career. He is confident that the Philippine Army will continue to grow towards greater achievements for his successor, just like him,